costing us billions of pounds every year. Deliberate crashes, bogus personal injury claims, even phantom pets. The fraudsters are risking more and more to make a quick killing. And every year, it's adding up to £50 to your insurance bill. Insurers are fighting back, armed with covert surveillance systems.
There's a subject out the vehicle.
Sophisticated data analysis techniques. And highly skilled, dedicated police units. They're catching the criminals red-handed. All those con men, scammers and cheats on the fiddle, now they're caught in the act and claimed shamed. High-speed tangle leads to an opportunistic fraud attempt.
There was no question, and the CCTV footage proved it.
A specialist police force challenges their suspect.
From what you say, we're not going to see anything in this car, right?
And an insurer discovers where £1 million worth of fraudulent cash has gone.
We were quite shocked.
What's going on here? Smashed up cars, police, dozens of onlookers. It's chaos. That's because the police car and the small hatchback have just been involved in a severe collision on this busy North London High Street.
The accident occurred on the 21st of February 2011 in Green Lanes in Haringey, very busy road. The aftermath of the accident was quite chaotic. There were lots of people milling around. The fire engines are there, the ambulance is there treating some of the injured parties. And what we can see is that there are 3 vehicles that have been damaged in that impact.
The third vehicle involved in the crash is the large black saloon car. It was sat in the parking bay at the time of the collision. The small hatchback ploughed into it after tangling with the police car. Amongst the carnage, the car's driver in the white hooded top can be seen inspecting his mangled motor. He then wanders over to talk to a police officer.
The person that's parked the vehicle at the roadside clearly approaches the police in the footage, and one can assume that they're asking about when their vehicle can actually be moved away from the crash.
He's not just worried about the vehicle. He was in the stationary car at the time of the incident. He also had a passenger with him, seen wandering around the wreckage. The 2 men, Mehmet Ali Gul and Turan Korkmaz, suffered injuries as a result of the whack. Soon after the incident, Gul and Korkmaz both submitted personal injury claims against the insurance of the hatchback driver who was supposedly at fault.
We had claims for whiplash injury and also for treatment for physiotherapy that they'd had as a result of the accident. The 2 claims that we had for the alleged people in the vehicle amounted to £2,147 apiece.
In total, the insurer was facing a £4,294 bill. The paperwork began. But this was no ordinary claim. It involved a police vehicle, and because of that, the claims process hit a problem.
We needed to make some further inquiries. Specific allegations had been made regarding the fact that the car hadn't been using its blues and twos.
Blues and twos is industry speak for lights and siren. If the police car hadn't been using its blues and twos, arguments on liability for the crash could have taken place. The insurer had to check the allegation. They contacted Haringey Council, as they had a CCTV camera positioned near the crash site, which captured the whole event. If the police car had been travelling at speed without its blues and twos on, the footage would tell them. When the insurer watched the footage, this is what it saw.
Very busy road, lots of buses around, lots of people milling around. In the distance, you can actually see a police vehicle approaching. It was quite evident that the lights were on.
The allegation that the police car didn't have its blues and twos on was wrong. The CCTV captures the whole event perfectly. The driver of the hatchback seemed to be at fault. Currently hidden behind a white van, the hatchback is about to cause mayhem.
Unfortunately, there's a collision between our policyholder and the police vehicle. The subsequent impact that happens with a parked vehicle is significant.
The insurer of the small hatchback would have to pay up for the whiplash injuries suffered by Gull and Korkmaz, who were about to get out of the stationary car. They're probably a bit shocked. They'll be out in a moment. Any second now. No, they won't. And that's because...
When you study the CCTV footage, it's evident that the two claimants are nowhere near the vehicle at the time that the incident happened.
Turan Korkmaz and Mehmet Ali Gull first arrive on scene 2 minutes after the crash. There's the driver jogging up the road towards his bashed-up motor, followed by his pretend passenger. Both whiplash claims have been opportunistic attempts to make money out of a life-threatening event.
You see them approaching from quite a considerable distance away. There is absolutely no way that those two men could have been in the car at the time of the crash. There was no question. The CCTV footage proved it.
Korkmaz and Gull weren't going to get away with a free shot at the insurer.
When we repudiated the claims, we decided it was time to report it to the police so that they could consider a prosecution.
The footage was conclusive evidence. Both Turan Korkmaz and Mehmet Ali Gull received a 3-month suspended sentence and 120 hours community service.
I think it would be quite surprising to any fraudster as to the technology and the pooling of resources that is now happening within the insurance industry to actually make sure that these fraudulent claims come to an end. Fraudulent claims like this are obviously costing the honest policyholder around £50 on their premium every single year. The industry, insurers, the police are all working together to try and make sure that these people are prosecuted where necessary and brought to justice.
Fraudulent couple's jet-set lifestyle gives the game away.
The couple spend an awful lot of time going on holiday, going to the airport.
And the owner of a pink limo won't back down on price.
The vehicle was quite a tatty vehicle, actually.
CCTV has proven indispensable in the fight against insurance fraud. But there are times when more unlikely methods uncover the scammers. This is Miss Jackson, a single mother, who back in 2009 was doing her best to make ends meet by holding down a full-time job whilst also looking after 2 kids. Britain has 2 million single-parent families. Bringing up a child on your own can be tough, not least of all financially. Luckily, there's help at hand in the form of tax credits.
Tax credits, pension credits and benefits in general are designed for those who are really in need of financial help to top up the earnings of someone who is on a low income or with childcare costs.
Miss Jackson, despite her efforts, relied upon the help of the tax credit system.
Miss Jackson was claiming to be a single mother on a very low income of around £6,000 a year. She was claiming that she was working full-time, and in addition to that, she had high childcare costs.
Money was tight for the full-time working mom, but the tax credit system would help keep their heads above water. In order to make sure that tax credits are reaching the people who need them most, HMRC do regular random checks on tax credit recipients. In 2009, Miss Jackson's name came up for one such check.
Her tax credits claim was selected for a routine examination by a tax credits inspector.
During this routine examination, the inspectors made some surprising discoveries about the financially stretched single mum. It turned out she wasn't single. She was still living with the father of her children, Gajik Manucharian. The HMRC inspectors felt there was more to be discovered.
We put the couple under covert surveillance for around 3 months. This established that the couple spent an awful lot of time shopping and going on holiday and going to the airport.
Not the usual movements of a hard-up parent receiving tax credits. What was going on? HMRC were determined to get to the bottom of it.
There came a time where we decided that we had to resort to traditional techniques and We obtained a warrant. We went through the front door early one morning in October 2009 and arrested the suspects.
So what did HMRC discover from the raid of Jackson and Manucharian's address?
The couple were living quite an extravagant lifestyle.
The couple lived in this. They drove a couple of these. And they did indeed enjoy the odd holiday.
We discovered that Miss Jackson had a lifestyle well beyond what her declared means were. She'd recently purchased a property for around £365,000 with £150,000 going down as a deposit on it. In addition to that, she'd recently taken out a loan on a £56,000 Mercedes motor car. They spent a lot of time on holiday at locations across the world.
The couple had been enjoying the kind of luxuries that are out of reach of most tax credit recipients. Over a 3-year period, they'd spent a lot of the taxpayers' money.
Between 2006 and 2009, Jackson was able to obtain £56,000 in tax credits. Additionally to that, via her Latvian mother, she set up a fraudulent claim to generate £27,000 in pension credits and winter fuel payments.
That makes a total of £83,000 in benefits fraudulently obtained from HMRC. But the figures didn't add up. The house alone was worth 4 times as much as that. Where were the fraudsters getting the rest of the money from? Bank statements seized during the raid held a clue.
The couple were receiving significant amounts of cash deposits into their account from locations all over the UK.
It was discovered that there were deposits linked to payments to a large insurer. Looking for specialist help, HMRC invited the insurer to aid in the investigation.
I think when HMRC found this information, they knew that they were onto some other type of fraud that this couple were involved in, but I don't think they really understood the full extent of the sort of criminal activity that Jackson and Manucharian had been undertaking in the insurance industry.
Jackson and Manucharian had been running an illegal insurance racket, a criminal practice known as ghost broking. Ghost broking is a term used for an illicit insurance broker who falsifies details to take out bogus insurance policies on behalf of drivers. If involved in an accident, their innocent customers could find that they don't have valid insurance. Jackson and Manucharian were ghost broking on a massive scale.
When we started to uncover the size of the fraud that had taken place, we were quite shocked.
In total, the couple had sold over 1,500 policies, leaving in their wake hundreds of customers without valid insurance.
We really realised what we were dealing with when we had to print out 30,000 pages of documentation to cover the extent of the fraud that Jackson and Manucharian had been committing just with the Direct Line Group, let alone any of the other insurers that they'd also been placing illegal policies with. And also the point where we had to set up special call lines to deal with the impact that they'd had on innocent victims.
After 3 years of fleecing innocent customers, the couple had made almost £1 million from their illegal insurance business. Add to that the £82,000 of fraudulently obtained benefits, and it's easy to see how they lived the high life.
That was feeding a lifestyle, a criminal lifestyle, which left Manucharian and Jackson living a life of comfort, a life of privilege, while their victims were driving around in vehicles which were uninsured.
Having committed both benefit and insurance fraud, Jackson and Manucharian were facing a double whammy in court.
Manucharian received 5 years and 2 months imprisonment. That was broken down into 3 years for insurance fraud and 2 years, 2 months for tax fraud. Jackson received 5 years imprisonment, and that was broken down into 2 years for insurance fraud, 2 years and 2 months for tax fraud, and 18 months for benefit fraud. We have got powers available to us under the Proceeds of Crime Act to recover any assets that criminals have obtained from involvement in criminal activity. In this particular case, we will look to recover what we can from these defendants.
As a result of the actions of people like Jackson and Manucharian, we're all paying more money at a time when really we can ill afford to pay more money for our insurance premiums. For the most part, I would advise people, if the deal is too good to be true, it probably is.
Insurance fraud is on the rise, and if you have insurance of any kind, you're footing the bill. But the fraudsters have an ominous enemy.
IFED is a 35-strong unit that works tirelessly to hunt down and prosecute insurance fraudsters wherever they may be throughout England and Wales.
Through a combination of investigation, industry connections and surprise, they've made over 300 arrests and stopped millions of pounds from going to the criminals. Money which ultimately goes back in our pockets.
It's highly likely now, if you commit any insurance fraud, you will get caught.
Today, IFED is raiding 2 addresses linked to another suspected ghost broker. The 2 addresses are just a few miles apart. DS Mullish is with the team going to the main raid location.
Plan today is we're going to arrest and search the premises of a suspect in relation to what we suspect to be involved in what we call ghost broking. Key evidence would be computers and any device capable of storing data, together with documentation relating to insurance policies.
IFED rendezvous with the local officers supporting today's raid. It's 7:49 a.m. The 6-strong team enters the suspect's address.
Oh, hi. Warrant here, City London Police.
Within seconds, the door is opened. IFED recognises its suspect.
Anyone else on the premises? Someone's in there, though? Right, is this a... Two lounge, we'll explain why we're here.
Got a warrant to search this premises and to arrest you. You don't have to say anything, but you may arm the defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Sure. Anything you do say may be taken in evidence.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, sure, sir.
DS Mullish, concerned that the suspect might tip off the other raid location, decides to round up the suspect's phones.
Where's your mobile phone? Turn those off for me. Is there a password, a number for this phone? And for your BlackBerry, is there a password for that?
Yes,
All 4 of the suspect's mobile phones are now switched off. For the time being, his lines of communication are cut.
Leave that there, and I'm just going to... I will seize them.
At the second raid location, DC Cooley and the team are falling into position outside the property. The IFED team has assistance from 2 local officers.
Good morning.
Morning. Hello, I'm Declan Malone, from City of London Police.
Certainly, yes, sir.
Show you my ID.
It's okay.
What, can I come in and explain?
Yes, please.
something?
Please come in.
Yeah. What it is, Mr. is we've got a warrant that's been issued by the City of London Magistrates Court, which allows us to search the premises.
Yes, please.
It's with regard to what they call ghost brokers, which is insurance brokers that don't really exist.
Right.
And they advertise and people buy the insurance, but then the insurance is worthless.
Oh.
DC Cooley discovers that the occupant of the property is the suspect's dad, and that the suspect used to live here.
So does he still have a bedroom here? I think we'll be particularly interested in looking at that.
Yes, please.
Thanks very much. Yeah.
Confident that the raid location is safe,
help out
IFED
and search
dismisses
as
the
well.
local officers.
Good luck, James.
Yes, sir.
DC Cooley and DC Malone head upstairs to begin a search for potential evidence in the suspect's old bedroom. They start with the big stuff, computers.
You were saying that this computer here had been used by at some point or another?
Used it before.
I think we're going to have to take that hard drive, so...
Sure, yeah, why not?
The computer is seized, and its contents will be analysed by IFED specialist IT investigators. The first piece of potential evidence is in the bag. DS Mullish warns his suspect against doing a runner.
So I'm going to be relying upon you to cooperate.
Yeah, 100%.
He is very fast.
What a stunner. 16 seats, fibre optic mood lighting, flat screen TVs, a glitter wall, and even a skylight to pop up from when you want to whoop at boring people not invited to your party. It's not the kind of vehicle you nip to the shops in, but you could run a business hiring it out to revellers. That's what one man was doing with his 16-seater Lincoln Navigator, pictured here.
The claimant had purchased the vehicle for job purposes and was using it for private hire and parties and all the usual nice social activities that take place within the limousine.
Cruising around in an eye-catching motor seems like a good way to make a living. So you can imagine the owner's disappointment when his pink cash cow was taken off the road after being involved in a collision.
This was a straightforward road traffic accident whereby our insured had basically come out of a minor road, exited onto a roundabout and straight into collision with the limousine.
Straightforward or not, the damage was severe.
The damage to the limousine was allegedly quite extensive to the off side of the vehicle and also to the near side front bonnet. The claimant solicitors had organised for an engineer to inspect the vehicle, and the engineer's report indicated a value of £21,000. The extent of the damage rendered the vehicle a write-off, a total loss.
The insurer set about processing the claim for the limo owner. The paperwork was well underway when, suddenly, the insurer halted the claim. An inconsistency had been spotted.
The owner alleged that he needed a replacement vehicle for work purposes because he was without his limousine, but very oddly, rather than replacing his limousine with a like-for-like vehicle, which you'd expect he would need for the prestige jobs that he indicated that he needed to do, he hired a Mercedes C-Class.
Now, this is maths I can handle. The damaged pink limo had 16 passenger seats. A Mercedes C-Class, no more than 4. If the owner of the party vehicle business was using the Merc for work, he was regularly leaving 12 party animals stranded on the curbside. With suspicions aroused, the insurer went looking for hard facts and figures.
We decided to undertake a further examination of the vehicle.
The findings were surprising.
The vehicle was quite a tatty vehicle, actually, for the interior purposes, and certainly not one you would expect to be out on prestige jobs for parties and obviously those ladies who like pink limousines. The assessor had come back, or the engineer had come back to say that, in his opinion, the vehicle was actually only worth £4,800 as opposed to the £21,000.
The insurer's valuation of the vehicle was a fraction of the amount being claimed. However, the limo owner wouldn't back down from his £21,000 valuation of the vehicle. But his resistance was about to be broken. The insurer discovered the limo owner had taken out his insurance policy just a month before the crash.
When the claimant had incepted his policy of insurance for the limousine just 1 month prior to this incident, he had indicated to insurers that his value of the limousine was £10,000.
So the limo owner himself had declared that the car was worth no more than £10,000, less than half the £21,000 he was trying to claim for it. The game was up.
It's incredibly important that we stop exaggerated claims. Opportunistic claims make up the bulk of fraudulent claims, and it's costing the innocent motorist money.
The pink limo owner ended up settling for a tiny fraction of the £21,000 he had been chasing, saving every honest motorist from unnecessarily paying out more for their vehicle insurance.
The Association of British Insurers have indicated that last year alone, £90 million worth of fraud was uncovered from motor accidents. It's a huge problem in this economic climate to have insurance premiums increase because of this type of exaggeration.
Today, IFED is executing a double raid. It's searching 2 addresses linked to a man suspected of selling false insurance policies. DS Mullish,
Turn those off for me.
having cut the suspect's lines of communication,
Is there a password for this phone?
is ready to begin a thorough search for potential evidence of fraudulent activity.
Is there any documentation that you can point us towards in relation to insurance policies?
Try to dig some stuff out here.
The suspect responds to DS Mullish's request by handing over a clear plastic box full to the brim with documents. Almost immediately, his attention is drawn to a bright red vehicle registration document.
This document I'm about to seize is of particular interest because it actually relates to the suspected fraudulent name of the company or business. The name on this document is the exact name of what we believe the suspect has been operating under. Potentially a key bit of evidence, yes.
A few miles away, DC Cooley is studying documents found in the suspect's old bedroom at his father's house. He has a lot to get through. DC Cooley thinks he's onto something. Within the mass of paperwork, he finds what could be damning evidence of fraud.
Now, this is interesting. It's a letter written by the suspect to an insurance company clarifying the position on someone else's insurance policy.
The suspect is not registered with the Financial Services Authority. This means that it's illegal for him to act as a broker.
He even cheekily claims that the police stopped him on the street and then verified that the insurance was correct.
DC Cooley and DC Malone have finished their search.
Sees it all in one.
Yeah.
The documents and computers seized will be added to the exhibits found at the suspect's house.
Yeah.
Back at the suspect's property, the search is about to move outside.
2 cars downstairs that need doing 18s on. He's given us consent.
Right.
We can have a quick look.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Is there anything in the cars?
Just basic CDs.
The team decide to take a look for themselves. Before heading outside, DS Wallace has a warning for the suspect.
Yeah, we will do the 101s. I'm not going to handcuff you, as my colleague said.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be relying upon you to cooperate.
Yeah, 100%.
He is very fast. I'm even faster.
Okay.
This is it, is it? Right, if you don't mind just standing.
Nothing is found in the black vehicle. Before searching the second car, DS Mullish double-checks with the suspect about its contents.
From what you say, we're not going to see anything in this car, right? All right, if you want to stay there.
Yeah, sure.
DS Mullish doesn't have to go any further than the glove compartment before finding potential evidence of fraud.
Steve, did you bring any bags? The document seized from the suspect's vehicle is a copy of an insurance document in another person's name other than the suspect.
The search is complete. IFED takes the suspect away for further questioning.
Put your seatbelt on for us. Yeah. Oh, we've had a great result today. We found the suspect at the address. We found great evidence. And we've also, where we simultaneously executed a warrant at another address, we've also found relevant documentation there. Very good evidence to support our investigation.